Hi guys, welcome to this week, the 31st of January, 2022, 23. I remember someone always said it takes us a year to get used to the new year. Anyway, I've been quite good at saying 2023 until today for some reason. Obviously, I defaulted to a year of habit. So welcome to the webinar this week. Thank you to the live attendees for the chat before we started recording. And thank you to those that are logging on and streaming after the fact. Today's yet again another mixed bag. I've really been thinking about what's happening in the world, what current events are happening, experiences that I've had that I can relate to prospecting for financial advisors. So the mixed bag is also no particular order. So it's like, Santa with his Xmas presents and he's taking the bag up and now it's all mixed up. So who knows if the plan will work out, but it always does, right? It always does. All right, so just before I get into the thick of things, I just want to let you know, if you don't already, that the Sales Guru annual in-person event is back. First time in person after 3 years. And quick disclaimer, I have no affiliation with Sales Guru. I'm punting it because I see value and I used to go before COVID. And I am friends with Mark Keating, the CEO, but there's no monetary association. I'm simply saying that if you have the opportunity to attend this in Cape Town or Joburg on the 9th and the 10th of February, you got to go. Mark himself is speaking and there's a guest speaker and it's 3 hours and it's deep, impactful sales, which you can apply to any industry or profession whatsoever. I know that there's still tickets available for Cape Town. I know that Joburg was sold out, but they added an extra row or extra tables or seats or whatever they did. And so there's a handful of tickets available for Joburg as at today's date, 31st of January. All right, so if you didn't know about it, now you do. And if you don't have tickets and you're able to get to or you in either of those cities, I really highly recommend it. Also, there's a nice networking opportunity because you won't find only financial advisors there. In fact, financial advisors will be a small part of that pot. You'll find people from all walks of life. So see it not just as an education, and not just as an experience, an immersive one at that, but seeing it as an opportunity to network and get in front of people and meet potential clients. All right, that's the Sales Guru. Go to salesguru.co.za events, and you will see it there. I went to Gold Reef City on Saturday with my family. I haven't been there or hadn't been there in about 4 years. It may have been 5, so 4 to 5 years. And I had benchmarked 1.1 meters, the height my kids needed to be to go on most of the rides. And now they're both at about 1.25 meters. So I thought they were safe, only to learn that it's not 1.1 meters, it's 1.3. Now, to my memory, every signpost used to say 1.1. Now they say 1.3. So I don't know if I got it wrong. My feeling, because I do remember numbers, my feeling is, and I had benchmarked this, so it was a thing, it was a reference so that I knew when I could take the kids. So they couldn't go on many rides, but we still had fun anyway. So socially, I have some strong opinions on Gold Reef City. I think that they've lost the theme of the theme park. And I think that their offering is kind of shifted. It's a venue with rides. It's not really a theme park anymore. It is a good experience. If you have the opportunity, go there. Don't go at month end. Do not go at month end. Okay, but I want to tell you a story. Toward the end of the day, we selected a ride. For those of you who are familiar with it, it's that big tube ride down the river, the rapids. And there was a very, very long queue. So it took us about 20 minutes to get to that zigzag, where they file people in the zigzag up until the point of embarkation. So when we got to the beginning, I looked forward and thought we probably have about another hour to go, so an hour and 20 minutes, but it's nearing the end of the day. The theme park closes at 5 o'clock. Let's just stand in line and see it through. And it took us 35 minutes to get through half of the zigzag. So one would assume, based on the evidence that we have, that it would take another 35 minutes to get through the second part of the line, of the zigzag part of the line. But what happened was that at the 35-minute mark, in other words, when we were halfway through the zigzag, at the 35-minute mark, assuming we had another 35 minutes to go, they closed the ability for guests to join the line to that ride because the park was closing at 5 o'clock, which was in about 45 minutes time. So no one knew was to enter the line. What happened then is that we got through the second half of the line in 10 minutes. All right, so let me summarize. It took us 35 minutes to get halfway. It should have taken us 35 minutes to go through the second half, but it took us 10. Now, I'm not going to make any assumptions, but here are some facts. They closed the line. The staff found a sense of energy that they didn't have before. They were communicating with each other and with guests far more effectively and efficiently than they had been doing before, if they had been doing it at all before. And they were just making a difference. They were up and down the line. Where they had a tube or a family of 4 people getting into a tube. They were looking for 2 others that could join. They kicked into action. So look, we can make assumptions that it was 45 minutes until home time. And if they go slowly, then they're going to go home late. If they go quicker, they can go home on time. Now, that's the obvious thing. But what I found very interesting about this is that they had the ability to kick into action. They had the ability to harness this energy and do what they needed to do to move their paying guests through and provide them with a service that was impressive, because watching them do this for their last 10 minutes was really incredible, especially considering what they'd been doing for the 45 minutes before. So I got wondering, what would it be like if they were to have been showing up in this way for the rest of the day? They would have gotten a lot more guests through. The guests would be happier. The ride would be more effective. What if everyone else that was attending every other ride was doing this in the same way? It would have created a different vibrance and energy for the entire park. The guests would have had a better, improved experience. The staff themselves would very possibly have been happier because they wouldn't have been acting in their kind of slump, giving up way. They would have been energized by their engagement and interaction with people. They would have been satisfied with their own impact that they were making and the efficiency with which they were doing things. So if you compare this to, for example, a teller of Pick n Pay, she has a choice to ignore you or to greet you half-heartedly or to be friendly or rude. But if you've ever experienced the difference between the two, and maybe you should play with it if you haven't, but for you to be friendly and engage with someone and deliver a service that's useful versus being disinterested, disengaged, and having a bad relationship with the service that you're providing, you will go about your day very differently, very differently. And it may sound like effort to do this. The last 45 minutes of the day, they can do it because they're about to go home. So there's reason to do it. Well, what if their reason to do it was to have a good day, was to create their own job satisfaction, was to engage beautifully with their colleagues and their guests all day? Would they not begin their day better and therefore, as a result, end their day better? And as a result of that, go into their next day having come from a better place because the day before was better? This is all true. I am asking it as a question, but it's true. How you start your day is how you end your day. And if you end your day well, you'll begin your next day well, because you're coming from the history and experience of a day that was good before. So why not make the next day good? And now you know how. Engage with people. Summon the energy. Do what you need to do. So what about you in your business as a financial advisor, within your business and with clients? How do you begin your day and how do you end your day? What are your energy levels? Do you call in the energy you need? How do you show up? Do you show up energized, or do you show up lazy? Do you show up enthusiastic, or do you show up disinterested? What is the experience that you give your clients and potential clients? One where they will tell a story like me, or there was this financial advisor that I met with, whether or not I did business with him or her, they showed up in this way. It was kind of energy sapping, or geez, it was incredible. The service that they provided, their depth of engagement, their level of attention, it was incredible. And you can feel when I say this, how showing up in this way will lead to a certain result within the engagement that you have with these people, these potential clients of yours. The way you show up will direct the experience that they have. They will commit to you, they will refer you, and they will continue to work with you. So think about that. Think about how it was possible for those ride attendants to find the energy at the end of the day and relate it back to you. How do you show up in your day? When and where and how and for what reason do you have energy? What if you could call on that energy throughout the day? And what if it was easier to do that than to do the opposite or do what you have been doing up until this point? It is a mindset and it's not so much a hack, but a way of being. It's not about, oh, I'm going to do this so that. It's about how I want to live my life. It's about how I want to prospect so that I can build this business. It's about how I want to show up in front of clients. It's about how you want your clients and potential clients to experience you so that they will do business with you and so that they will refer you. It's your choice from the beginning of the day to the end of the day, from the beginning of the week to the end of the week, for the entire year. It's your choice. And being in January right now, think about this. Think about how you show up and what levels of energy you choose to bring into your client engagements or engagements with potential clients. It's completely up to you. All right. Another random story, or this is maybe the first of the random stories because Gold Reef City was quite intentional. You know this load shedding thing? Eskom, listen, there's no way we're going to get through any number of webinars without talking about Eskom. But we know the reality is that this is not going to go away. My personal opinion is that I don't think it's ever going to go away. We've seen it for long enough. We've had load shedding since 2007. We might have had a big gap somewhere in between, but we've had it. It's just at the worst point ever right now. But based on what we know and what we see, load shedding is never going away. So we really don't have a choice but to look for alternatives. There was an article, I forget the publication, it was a website. There was an article over the weekend about how so many businesses that chose to allow their people to work from home or some hybrid version of this are now calling them back to the business because the homes don't have power solutions and they need to be online and they need to have charged laptops and they need to be able to be reached. Cell phones are going dead. So they're calling them back to the office because the office have generators and inverters and whatever else they might need to operate. So understanding the crisis, the electrical or electricity crisis that we're in, there's some things that we just need to do. You might just need to work from the office instead of home. You might just need to get inverters and batteries for your house. You might eventually just have to get solar panels for your roof because you won't have a choice. So what are the things that you just have to do to develop business? What are the things that you really don't have a choice to do? You might have been avoiding them and you know the reality and you know that without doing them or having them or whatever it is, you will not be the prospector that you need to be. You will not develop the business in the way that you want to the degree that you want to. You just have to do these things. Let me think of some examples. Maybe you just have to get yourself a new shirt. Maybe you just need to clean your car. Maybe you just need to take that insane prospecting online course. Maybe you just need to come to these webinars every single week. Maybe you just need to follow insane social media. Maybe you just need to speak to the guy in your office that's massively successful in prospecting. Maybe you just need to wake up earlier in the morning and give yourself 2 extra hours to do what you need to do, whether it's work on your plan or take action or work on your mindset or do some physical work or do some learning. There are probably many things that you just have to do. You know you have to do them or should do them. And I know I talk about the word should or would or could or whatever, but you know, if you did them, they would make a difference in your business. If you did these things, they would change your relationship with prospecting. What do you just need to do? Like eventually you'll just need to get an inverter and batteries and solar panels. If we have a water crisis, you might just need to sink a borehole into your property. What do you just need to do? as a financial planner that wants to develop new business. Don't let this go. Don't just nod and think, okay, that's quite a cool way of saying it. Write it down, and when we're done, go and think about it. Go and think about it and take action around this. Don't just agree with me. I want you to really think about this, because for all of you, no matter what level or stage your business is at, there are things that you just need to do. And if you did them, they would make that difference. So do some work around this. Okay. In 15 days, we have an international celebration of love. Cupid is warming up. He's taken his quiver of arrows and his bow, and he's stretching his wings and starting to flutter them about, because on the 14th of February, it is Valentine's Day. Whether or not you believe in the celebration of a commercial event such as Valentine's Day, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All of these things are commercial, not commercial. All of these things are opportunities for you to develop business with existing clients, with potential new clients, also to build your reputation over media and social media. It's an opportunity. So you don't have to, and I'm saying this because there are a lot of skeptics out there. You don't have to buy into the idea of Valentine's Day. You just have to accept that it exists. And you have to ask yourself what you can do with it to develop business. Okay, so I'm going to throw some stuff at you. The first is, I would imagine you have a lot of single clients. Now, if you tag them properly in a CRM, you could easily just tick a box and it would bring up all of your single clients. If you did it really effectively, you would have single, in a relationship, married. So what you're looking for are really single. You're looking for single, not in a relationship, fully single people. And you can communicate with them. Send them a Valentine's thing. Send them a box of chocolates. Send them a teddy bear. Send them a red heart. Send them one of Cupid's arrows. You know, here's some love from your financial advisor. You could have a pipeline of single prospects. Send them some love. Send them a Valentine's Day message. It's an opportunity to communicate with them once again, because they're in the pipeline. They may not have said yes or no yet. They're a maybe, which is why you keep striving to get them to a yes or a no, preferably a yes. But if they're in the pipeline, communicate with them. It's a massive opportunity. Maybe you haven't meta tagged them just yet, but the pipeline's not as big as the client base if you're somewhat established. So manually go through it. You should know enough to know whether they are single or not. Communicate with them. There's an opportunity to write an article. You could contact an editor. You could hire a public relations person. You could contact a producer. Everyone is so easy to get in touch with nowadays. Just through LinkedIn, you can find the producer of a show at a radio station and say that you've written this press release. You wonder if you can do something with it, have them read it, maybe bring you on as a guest on the show, or maybe publish your press release, edited or not, in the publication or on the news website, and relate it to love and financial planning and the love of financial planning. Relate it to financial planning for loved ones. There are these two themes, love and financial planning. There is so much that you can throw at this. Post it all over social. Make a video of yourself. Write something. Create a meme. Go on Canva and create a picture using your brand. Drop your logo in it. Use a few words just to have a message. Love and financial planning. Financial planning is love. Like whatever. Make it all Valentine-ish. There are amazing templates on Canva. Maybe your company is doing something. Grab something from your company or do something for the advisors in your company. If you're a company owner, principal, whatever it may be. What about financial planning for single people? So within the strategy, you might wish to look at that theme. Well, financial planning for a single person is very, very different for financial planning for a married person that has 6 kids. And there's so much content you can create for that. So whether it is a video of you talking or a meme or an article or a press release or whatever it is, write an article. I mean, just as I'm saying this and I'm thinking off the cuff, it's so interesting what you need to consider should you be single versus should you have a family. And if you're single looking for love, well, think about this. What does love mean? Maybe it's marriage and a golden carriage. as the song goes. And what does that mean financially? It means that while you selfishly just taking care of yourself, selfishly in a good way, taking care of yourself right now, it costs you X amount of money. But what if you now have a spouse and you have kids and you therefore need a bigger house, and because you have kids, you have 4 pets? What are the cost implications? Whether or not you and your spouse are working, both working, the costs go like this. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the considerations of, and this is almost skeptical sounding, but how much does love cost? You used to get TV meals on the way home or cook for one, and you don't even have a dishwasher because it's so easy to wash dishes for one person. But as soon as you're 2 people, you don't want to wash dishes anymore. You want to buy a 7,000 rand dishwasher. What about that? Your kitchen doesn't have enough space, so you want to upgrade your apartment, maybe save money because you cohabitate. But the considerations are very different. So from a financial planning perspective, what do you need to think about? What advice do you give your clients when it comes to love, cohabitation, joint planning, marriage, kids, dogs, cats, rabbits, houses? My goodness, there is a year's worth of content that you can build here from one theme that we call Valentine's Day. Embrace it, leverage it. Okay. All right, a little bit more dull. Wow, this is actually, I told you it's a mixed bag in no order. So going from Valentine's Day, I'm going to talk about something very dreary. A year and a half ago, possibly, there was a guest on this webinar. I'm not going to give his surname just because of the sensitivity of the situation right now. But his first name was Trent, and he's a financial planner. And I think he was 41 years old up until Saturday when he died. I don't think he was a healthy guy. I believe he drank a lot of Red Bull, like copious amounts. I believe he wasn't well recently, but at 41 odd years of age, he had a heart attack. He left behind a wife and 2 kids whom he loved. He's a guy in my building. I was friendly with him. Really, really good guy. Good financial planner. So good client financial planning philosophy, like, really in service of his clients. But he's not around, and he's probably not around. And I may be jumping to assumptions over here, but he wasn't a healthy guy. In fact, he was a terribly unhealthy guy. Guys, take care of yourselves. If you don't take care of yourselves, you're useless to everyone. You can't take care of your clients. You can't take care of your family. You can't take care of your business. There are so many people that rely on you outside of your immediate family. So many people, the people you employ, the people that you're friends with and enjoy your personality and your contribution to the world. If you really think about your wider network, how you're connected, and what you contribute to all of those people, you have an effect on a lot of people's lives. And for some of those people, it's more than an effect. They rely on you. So take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. That's all I'm going to say. All right. Let's go to another story. Last week, I was taking a Tony Robbins course called Unshakable. It's the compressed 2-hour per day for 5-day version of it. He used to do 10 or 12 hours a day for 5 days in person. So it was a lead into, I think it's called The Power Within, which is a much bigger course, which he's doing in person, and it's a hybrid event. But there were so many great stories and learnings and so much motivation and a ton of reminders. But I want to tell you a story that he told, and this will be a summarized version because he knew the guy personally. And, when it's a personal story, you can tell it in more detail and add some of your personal nuances. But in effect, this is the story. He knew a guy that was in real estate, and I think he had all the makings of someone that could do well, but he didn't really do well. He had his footprint within a particular neighborhood, but he never really did well. And Tony Robbins was in real estate as well at that time, for a time, and they kept in touch or bumping into each other, and they would always chat. And Tony always wondered why the guy never did well. He really had all the attributes that should have made him do well. Anyway, in this particular suburb in which he operated, I think it was in or around Los Angeles, there was a rubbish collector strike. So as they call it there was trash all over the street, and it was going on for weeks. And it wasn't like ballet. It wasn't an up market. It wasn't the uppest market. That's bad English. Wasn't the most exclusive of neighborhoods, but it was up market. And there were some well-to-do residents that were really up in arms about this. And the weeks went on and the days went on. And Tony was talking to this real estate agent at one point, and it came down to, well, what can you do to your community or for your community? How can you help them? And he said, well, I can pick up the trash for them. And Tony said, well, that's a really good idea. Go and do it. And the guy hired some trucks and he went around the neighborhood. He collected all of the trash that was out in the streets. And part of the conversation, I don't know whether it was at the time of collecting shortly thereafter or before, but as I tell you the story, I'm thinking that it was now before. The guy goes, well, how am I going to advertise it? How shall I let everyone know? And Tony said, don't say anything. The word will get out there. Just provide the service. Just do it. So he did that. And before he knew it, somehow it got out that he was the person that had collected all of the trash. And he got a phone call from two people initially. And they were going, oh, we heard that you collected the trash. Why would you do that? And he goes, well, I'm a real estate agent and this is my neighborhood and I serve the residents of this neighborhood. And I just wanted to help you guys. I just wanted to kind of take care of it. I'm as connected to this neighborhood as you are, just possibly in a different way. I just wanted to help. And the guy goes, well, that's amazing. Like, how can we repay you? And he said, well, I don't want any money for it. It was just something that I wanted to do for our neighborhood. But just so that you know, I am a real estate agent. So if you know anyone that's buying or selling in the area, please let me know. And before he knew it, he was getting referrals for buyers, referrals for sellers. And I can't remember the numbers, but in the first year following that, he made a massive amount of money. He went from no one in the realty game to someone significant, all because he embraced this idea of community and service. And he did something for free. He didn't want anything back. He may have dabbled with the idea of it, but he realized the value of just doing it. And for that, he was recognized, and it allowed him to connect with people and be introduced to other people. And just off of that one act of service, he grew his business significantly. And if I remember correctly, over the years, the business continued to grow and grow and grow because he had created a base of clients. And obviously with real estate, you get referred and referred and referred and referred. I ran into the guy that sold us our house 11 years ago, ran into him a few weeks ago, end of last year. And he was telling me how there are some houses in the neighborhood. I think it was one particular, that's the record, that in his time in the neighborhood, which is around 11, 12 years, he had resold or sold this house 5 times. And it's the same with financial planning. I talk about community service a lot. So in 101 strategies, things to do, which is module 2 in the online prospecting course, it features in there. I think there are a few ways, if I remember correctly, to do these things around community. So in Johannesburg, there are lots of opportunity because we do have litter. We have the council doesn't take care of the roads. We do river cleanups because there's dirt. There's dirt and neglect everywhere. And it's not just in Johannesburg. I just cite Johannesburg because this is where I live. It's all around the country, probably less so in Cape Town. Thank you, Cape Town. But there's still an opportunity. And you're always looking to be a big fish in a small pond, right? So opportunity is one way that you can do this. Are you known to the people around you? Are you known in your neighborhood, your community, your hobbies, your interests? If you do have a river gently flowing at the bottom of your road and it's strewn with litter, which was carried from some place through the floods at the beginning of the year, you could do it for nothing. But you will be recognized, you will be seen, and you just have to be there. That's the point. He came from a heartfelt position. He just wanted to do something for the community. So what can you do for your community that will have you seen and appreciated? Remember, prospecting, at least insofar as Insane Prospecting looks at it, is about helping you to get in front of potential clients. What can you do for your people, for your community, for your neighborhood that will allow you to get in front of potential clients, allow you to get in front of other human beings, which may be potential clients. I have no doubt you've had ideas. I was speaking to someone in Cape Town. It was actually at the FPI event last year. I was speaking to him about recycling because we don't really have any proper services in Johannesburg. In Cape Town, they have more, but he rallied the neighborhood. So there were a group of them that got together and they created this recycling service or solution in their neighborhood. And he's got an established business. He's a very successful financial planner, but he was certainly seen. You know, everyone in his neighborhood, all of whom seem to subscribe to the service, know him. So if you don't have that, I mean, do the service anyway. If you have the idea, do it. But the spin-off benefit of these things is that you are seen and you get in front of people who could be potential clients. So go with those ideas, take some action, do something in service for other people, and see where it gets you. That's all for today. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you in a week.